G'day all, it's Colin from PC TLC and thanks for joining me. In this video we're going to be installing Ubuntu 22.04 in VirtualBox. We're going to follow that up with some Codecs installs on real hardware, looking at DVD playback and just media file playback as well. Yes, believe it or not, people still use DVDs in their computer. Some people also just like physical discs. So to do that, we need the proper codecs installed. There's a certain amount of codecs installed when you click the box upon install of Ubuntu, but not everything is there. And you'll probably find some things might not work until you have the complete set of codecs installed. So that's what we're going to do. So the codecs bit I'm going to do on real hardware and show you a physical disc getting played. And then the rest of the process we'll do in VirtualBox. So let's get on with it. So let's install Ubuntu. Now, first of all, we're going to try Ubuntu. So this is the desktop of Ubuntu 22.04 live desktop. So if you decide you want to try Ubuntu on the live desktop, you can certainly do that by writing it to a USB, starting it up on your computer, and you can do whatever you like on the live USB. If you're not keen on it and you're not going to install it, you can just power off, and power off. And it makes no changes to your computer at all, but you can certainly give it a try and see how you like it. So let's get on with the install. We can double click this one here, or we can just click this one up top left hand corner. English for me, English US for keyboard is correct. Now we've got install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and additional media formats. So it does install some media format things, but not completely. So let's continue. I don't know why my screen decided to change there. That's a bit odd. Let's see if we can change that back. That was real bizarre. Let's try that again. Okay. Strange. So you can do something else and continue. Let's have a look at that, and then we can add our different partitions for, we are using UEFI here. So you could add partitions for your UEFI. You could actually, you'd have to make a new partition table to start with, and you can click the plus button and you can have a UEFI boot partition, and a partition for your root partition, and you can have a partition for your home and for your swap. You can do that, but what we're going to do here is just a very simple install. So we're going to erase disk and install. Now we do have advanced features here, which is different selections for logical volume management, erase disk and use ZFS, encrypt the new Ubuntu installation. That's only if you're probably choosing one of these, I suppose, but we're not going to do that. So we'll cancel that and we'll just erase disk and install Ubuntu. Perth, Australia is my location. We'll just give it PCTLC, PCTLC VBox. That name will do. Give it a password. Now that name there has to be all lowercase for a username. If you do it wrong, it'll let you know. You can have dashes, but if you do a capital, you cannot have, may only contain lowercase letters, digits, hyphens, and underscores. So there you go. And let's continue. I'm not going to log in automatically because I want to see the login screen and require my password to log in. And that is the install complete. So what we'll do is restart now and boot into our freshly installed desktop. This is our login screen of Ubuntu. That's log ourselves in. Fix our screen up first. And here we have our first steps of Ubuntu after install. Connect your online accounts. I'm going to skip that for now. I'm not going to send info to Canonical because I've done that with my Toshiba laptop. I'm not going to do that on VirtualBox. I'll keep that off for now and we're ready to go. So we're off and running. So the first thing we should do with a fresh install of Ubuntu is updates. So let's just do software updates is this one. Software and updates is changes to repos and stuff like that. So we definitely want this one here. And we've got some updates there. So let's install now. And that's the updates complete. So what we'll do is restart now, just to make sure that these updates take effect. And we are back on the desktop of Ubuntu, fresh install, including updates, and we are ready to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to Firefox browser, and I will be repeating this method when I'm looking at real hardware and installing the codecs, but we'll do this first off in the VirtualBox. And what I'll be doing is searching for GitHub. That's the first thing I'm going to do, GitHub. And let's have a quick look at this anyway. Help and about Firefox. This is the Firefox Snap for Ubuntu. So the Firefox, Mozilla Firefox Snap. That's what we're using. So GitHub, I'm going to do a quick search for PCTLC. That's my one there, so let's click on that. Don't know why it says that when you first click on that. So that's my home page there. So now what we're looking for is the Ubuntu-Scripts, which is here. Now the links will be below for this, no problem. And this is the Ubuntu things to do. Now there's two files here. One is a Firefox-stable.desktop file, and the other one is the Ubuntu things to do. So what we're going to do is download zip, and the zip is downloaded. Now you may get some sort of error when you download that. I'm not getting it now. Maybe it's the first time you do the GitHub thing, but I'm just going to bring up an error and I'll show you. Sometimes I get this when I'm downloading a zip from GitHub. If you click on this original file, or I think it says original file or something, then you should be right to go. That's how it normally works for me. I don't know why that error comes up. So we can now close the browser and we'll go to our home here and downloads, Ubuntu-Scripts. So I'm going to cut that and put it into the home folder. It doesn't really matter. You can run it from anywhere. I'm going to extract here. There's my Ubuntu-Scripts. Now that Firefox.desktop file is there for when you install Firefox. Now, if you decide to uninstall the Snap Firefox, you can install the Firefox with this script here. So the first thing we need to do with this script is right click, go to properties, go to permissions, and allow executing file as program, number 1. Now, this is the only time we need to open a terminal. We open terminal here. All you need to do is type ./UB for the first couple of letters on that file. Hit the tab key because there's nothing else with that name. If you have a few things with similar names, then you've got to type out where the name changes to be able to auto complete. But there's nothing else here, so we hit the tab key and that auto completes and we can press enter. Now if you hold down the Windows key or the super key and press arrow up, that'll make that full screen. So let's just drop that down for a minute. Let's open this up real quick with the text editor and check this out. Now I'm not keen on this look of text editor here. So what we're going to do is fonts and colors. I think Cobalt is the one I normally select. Yep, that's the one. So let's do that one. Now let's have a quick look at this script. That's the menu in green. So normally when I'm doing things to do for Ubuntu, I'll be running through the process of the commands in the terminal. This is how you do it in the software center. This is how you do it in Synaptic. Actually, I don't even know if Synaptic's installed. Let's check it out. No, Synaptic's not even installed. Actually, just let me check that again. I might have been looking at my computer. So there's no Synaptic in Ubuntu either. So this is what I'm saying. The process of Ubuntu has changed because they're now using snap packages mostly instead of dead packages. The game has sort of changed a little bit when it comes to things to do with Ubuntu. Now what I can show you here is with this bash script is if you have a look here, you've got one ABC, you've got some numbers down here as well, and we'll get to that. That's part of the script, so we won't worry too much about that. If you go down further, if you go to number 1, update your system. This is the command to update your system. Now you can do just sudo apt update, which just refreshes your repositories, but it doesn't upgrade anything. And then the next command is sudo apt upgrade. I'm running those both with the and command, so it'll refresh and then upgrade and then ask you for your password if there's an upgrade pending. And then you put your password in and off it goes. So that's the command there. So these are the commands. So you've got Ubuntu restricted extras install. So these are the commands here. Install VLC, apt install VLC. So these are the commands. Also this script is, this menu was inspired by the Easy Archer maintenance script. Thanks to Esnix, the creator of Easy Arch and Esnix OS projects. And there's some links here for that, and I'll leave those links or those web addresses there in the links below. Esnix does some great stuff, and he gave me a platform to be able to create this for this scenario. So I thank Esnix for that. He does some really nice work. So if you are a new user to Ubuntu and you're interested in how the commands work, then the commands are in that script if you want to follow them. So let's go back to our terminal. Super key, arrow up, we'll full screen that. Now I was going to, if we go back to that script, I think I closed it, didn't I? I was going to put an update and upgrade before every command when you're installing something. However, I thought it was best or more appropriate just to put an update up the top here. Update your system, which is what you see in this script in the terminal here. So before you run an install of any of these, I suggest you run update your system. That's why I've numbered it number 1, update your system. So let's do that now. Number 1, update the system. Put in my password. And if there's an upgrade, it'll go through. Your system has been updated. So there's really nothing to do because we've just updated the system anyway. It's always good to do that first. Once you've done that once, you can go ahead and install things. You don't need to do an update with every install. Only if you've gone a few days and you want to do something and you want to come back to this script, then I suggest you update before you do your first install or remove or whatever it is, just to be sure that the repositories are refreshed. Now the DVD and media support, I'm going to switch over to real hardware on my Toshiba laptop, and we're going to install the restricted extras and all the codecs needed to get your DVD playback happening, and also probably install VLC and MPV and show you how to get DVD playback going on those. It's a matter of just, selecting A, B, and C in this case. So let's switch over to real hardware and check that out. So I'm on my Toshiba laptop, fully updated, and we are going to get my scripts. So I need to get that first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download my script. So what I'm going to do is start up the Firefox snap. I'm going to head off to GitHub. Let's go to GitHub, find my page in GitHub. Let's see if I can find that. That's it there, PC TLC. I'll put these links below, which I've mentioned. Okay, so here's my scripts on GitHub. The last one I put up was this Ubuntu-Scripts. And all you need to do is go to code and download zip. Now, I might get some funny things happening here. No, we didn't. It's completed already. If we have a look at this screenshot here, so that's downloaded already. So let's close that and go to my downloads. And there's the Ubuntu script. So let's cut that into the home folder and extract here. And there's my Ubuntu scripts there. So we're going to do what we did before is go to properties, permissions, and allow executing file as program. Then we can open in terminal and type ./UB, hit the tab key, and it auto completes, and there's our menu. And the super key and arrow up will full screen it. Now, before we go any further, I'm just going to show you what we've got here. I've done a video here. There's Die Hard video, and there's a test video for my simple screen recorder. Let's open that up. And as you'll see, it's not showing any video. I've put it on another computer, and it's actually working, sound and video. But on here, it's actually recorded. I get the sound and video on another computer, but on here it's not working. So this is a good test for those media codecs from Install. Tells me that they're not working. I've got a movie here, Die Hard, on file. That's not working either. So this is one of the issues I have with Ubuntu upon install, whereas they don't allow you to select any box to install the Ubuntu restricted extras. So this is what we're going to do with the script. So let's do that. And also the other thing is, let's just check this out as well. I've got a DVD player on here. I'm going to stick a DVD in there called Collateral Damage, Arnie Schwarzenegger. This is my go-to video or my go-to DVD disc because it seems to be a difficult one to get going. It's got some, what can you say, some sort of copyrighted stuff on there. And it's always been a difficult one to get going. If that works, then we're doing okay. So let's just check whether we've got anything. It looks like the DVD's not even showing. Oh, there it is. Sorry, it takes a while to get going on this computer. Collateral Damage, there it is. And if we open up videos, let's open up videos. This one here. And there's Collateral Damage showing in videos. Let's just close that and open it again. So there's Collateral Damage. Let's double click that. Now, unfortunately, videos, even with the codecs, this videos player is actually called Totem Videos Player, which has been in Linux for a long time. I've never had any success with this video player playing DVD discs. Normally VLC is the best for that. But as you can see, nothing is working. So I'm going to eject that. Okay, disk ejected for now. So that's what we're going to do on here. This is the best example I can give you on real hardware. The rest can be done on VirtualBox. Jumping backwards and forwards from real hardware can be a bit of a pain, but it's easier for me to record on VirtualBox. Normally first, I was going to put updates before every one of these selections, so it updates your system before it installs anything, but I decided just to put this one up the top here, update your system number 1. So let's just do that first. Number 1. I've just done an update, so there shouldn't be anything to do. Your system has been updated, okay. So there's nothing to do. So let's install a Ubuntu restricted extras. Let's do that. And yes, just press enter. As you can see, the Y is a capital. So pressing enter will confirm the capital letter in Linux. And in this case, the capital letter is Y for yes. Now we'll get this EULA to accept the true type core fonts. So we have to accept that. So what you need to do here is press the tab key. It'll highlight OK and press enter. And in order to install this package, you must accept the terms for TrueType core fonts. Hit the tab key again, goes to yes, press enter. That's done. Then we'll press enter again. There's probably a couple of different commands in there, so that's why we need to press enter again to confirm. So this package automates the process of launching downloads of the source files for libdvd-css2, which is the what you need for DVD playback. Please run sudo dpkg-reconfigure libdvd-pkg to launch this process. Well, just press OK because that's within the that is one of the commands within this install, so it will happen for you. So just press enter because OK is highlighted. Enable automatic upgrades, yes, press enter. Download, build and install libdvd-css2, yes, press enter. Ubuntu restricted extras installed, please reboot to enable. So might as well, while we're at it, install VLC Media Player. And if you want, you can install MPV as well, which is a simple media player. So if we have a quick look at the scripts we just run, let's open that with text editor, and we installed the Ubuntu restricted extras. So this is what you can run in the terminal: sudo apt install ubuntu-restricted-extras, and then sudo apt install libdvd-pkg, and then the reconfigure one as well. So that's what we ran. You can see here Ubuntu restricted extras install, that's what it's for. This one here is VLC Media Player install for DVD playback support and extra codecs. So VLC will always install extra codecs. And MPV Media Player install, very simple media player. If you're trying to play a DVD from the DVD player, you have to drop the video TS folder into the MPV for it to play. So these are the commands to install these two here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to select B, VLC Media Player install. Y is a capital, so we press enter because that'll select yes. VLC Media Player installed. Okay, and then while we're at it, let's go for C, MPV. We can check that out as well. And yes, enter. And then we'll restart and check it out. MPV Media Player installed. So let's just press X to exit. Close that. I'll stop this recording and we'll be back after a reboot. So here we are back on the desktop after a reboot. And let's just check out our test video now and see what that does. So I'm going to, was it this one? No, it was the test one, wasn't it yet? So that still doesn't want to play. No, it doesn't want to play. We've got a closed unexpectedly. No, I don't want to send anything for that. That's tried Die Hard 4. See if that wants to play. That doesn't want to play either. So what we can do here is change our default video player to start with. Let's go to settings, default applications, video will be VLC. So let's try that. Let's play the test one. So that is working. Yeah, that test video doesn't want to play for some reason. Played on another computer for me. Let's try this one. Okay, that still seems to be opening with video. So I don't know why it's doing that. Open with other application, VLC Media Player. And as you can see, that recording is recording fine, even though it wasn't playing. So, and you can see it still doesn't want to play with videos either. And this one here, we need to open with, I didn't realize it was still opening with videos. I thought I did change the default player, but for some reason it didn't stick on that one. And there's that recording as well. So that's all working fine. So I've got no sound because my speakers, Yeti Stereo always takes over speakers for some reason. We need built-in audio. There we go. So now I can hear that. Couldn't hear anything before. Let's play that again. It's still opening by default with videos for some reason. So there we go. So that's working. Now for the big test. The collateral damage DVD, which I've just put into the DVD player. So we'll just wait for that to start up. Collateral damage, there it is. So what we'll do is we'll open a VLC player. VLC media player. We go to media, open disk, and it should be -dev-sr0. That's the default, and we press play. It's getting a bit old and slow, this DVD. That took quite a while to start up. I didn't think it was going to start, actually. I thought it was going to make a liar out of me. But it's all working, so click on play movie. Collateral damage, press the F key to full screen, just like YouTube. And then we can just go through quickly here to move forward a bit in the video, just for a bit of sound. And there we go.
Want to see my Kobe Bryant slam dunk? Oh, sweetie, I don't.
And that's the video playing, all in sync and everything, so that's all good. So no problems there. We are on xorg at the moment, not Wayland. Otherwise, I cannot record with simple screen recorder. Now, the other thing is the MPV player. MPV media player. Now, if you want to play your disc from the MPV media player, this is a very simple media player. So what you need to do is go to collateral damage, video TS. Actually, I think we just dropped the whole folder in now. Oh, actually, no, we just dropped this whole video TS folder into there, and then that should start playing. And there we go. F for full screen as well. And that's playing. It's a very simple player. I don't know why this DVD is really reading slow today. It was reading much better than this the other day when I was trying this out. It's really, really slow. Now that's got a different language. If you keep clicking this, audio track, number 5, English. And there you go. So that's your subtitles and your language selection there. So we can drop that down, close that, and that is your Codecs install. As you can see, the videos player is I don't know, it's not a very good supported player, to be honest. Even with the Codecs installed, it's not playing those simple video files. Let's just try videos again with Die Hard with videos. I think that may have played, did it? No, it's just closing. So I don't know what the deal is with that video player. I don't even know why it ships by default. I've never had any luck with that player. It's always been that way. Maybe there's a problem with it currently, I'm not sure. Back to the scripts, open in terminal, arrow up because I've already done that, so do that. Windows key, arrow up again. So that is DVD and media support. So the remaining of this menu I'm going to finish off in a VirtualBox on my main system. I am having some wireless troubles with installing sometimes. I have run through all of this menu on this real hardware and it all works. So there's no problems there. So it's just VirtualBox is easier for me to do that. This is real hardware at the moment to show you the DVDs, how they work on physical discs. I think my disc needs a clean. I dropped it before I put it in. I may have got dirty because it's not reading too well at the moment. So at this point, I'm going to type X to exit that menu, and then you can type exit here to exit the terminal, or just click that button there. So that is DVD and media support with Codecs installed. So you can see that there's not a lot of support for codecs out of the box with Ubuntu. You do need to install those extra codecs. Now maybe the video player may have played before installing the main codecs, just not that video player. Probably should have done VLC first. So let's head back to VirtualBox and continue the menu in VirtualBox. So that was the codecs installed and testing out VLC player and MPV player. Not sure what's going on with Totem Media Player. Haven't really had a lot of luck with that one. I don't know whether I'm doing something wrong, but definitely with the codecs, watching YouTube and things like that should be working out of the box without that codec, without that Ubuntu restricted extras installed. It's just for DVD playback mainly, and for certain types of media files as well. So that will definitely help you out. So let's check out the rest of this things to do script. So in Ubuntu, when we click on the terminal, nothing happens. I'm clicking on that, nothing's happening. It just allows you to expose the other opened application like so. So what we can do is we can enable minimize on click. So if we do that on select D, enable minimize on click, and that's done. It's fairly instantaneous. And now what we can do is we can minimize things on click like so. Now if you want to get into it a little bit more, we can install the Dconf editor. So let's do that E. That's installed Dconf editor. Dconf editor installed. Now, if we go to that script and open that up, if you need to know anything, I've left a couple of notes here. That was, where was that? E. So if we go to E, Dconf editor. Now, if you want to navigate to where you need to go for what we just did, let's open Dconf editor. And I'll be careful. So you can mess things up if you're not careful. So you need to be careful. So I've got written here, you need to navigate to org, gnome, shell. It's one click to open everything here. Extensions, dash to dock. And then we need to find click action. So we need to search for click action. There's the click action. So let's click on that. Now you'll see it's set to minimize. That's what that setting did. This one here, D, enable minimize on click. That's what it did. So what you can do if you want to, you can uncheck the default value, which is what it tells you to do in that script. Toggle off use default value like so. Then you can click on custom value, click on the box next to custom value, which is this one here. We need to turn that off. Okay. Click on the box next to custom value, and you've got all these options. So if you want any of these other options, you can do so. I'm not sure what the default was. It was probably previews, was it? Probably previews. Let's just check that out. I'm not sure if it was that one actually. I'm not really sure what the default is, but that's what you can do there. And what you need to do there is if you change it, click apply like so, and that'll change. You can install GNOME Tweaks. Press F for GNOME Tweaks. Now you may not be asked for a password. GNOME Tweaks is installed already. You may not be asked for a password because you have a certain amount of time where a password is not asked. If you go past that time, then a password will be asked for again. And the other thing is the GNOME Extensions Manager. Let's go G, GNOME Extensions Manager. Yeah, we're asked to continue with that install, yes. GNOME Extension Manager installed. We've got the tweaks. This is what tweaks does, because tweaks not installed by default, but you can try appearance. Now the extension manager will help you turn on what is it, the appearance, the shell. You can change the shell if you install different themes and the shell is active. you can change that theme on the shell, and you've got some other settings within tweaks as well. So this is not there by default, so you can adjust things on the top bar here for the clock. Windows title bars, you can change the defaults there. You can turn on your minimize and maximize buttons, the placement left and right, windows, center new windows, and so forth. So there's a whole heap of things you can do. Suspend when laptop lid is closed, and of course the appearance. So that's what Tweaks does. Now the Extensions Manager, EXT, Extensions Manager, I don't want to view the release. Now the Extensions Manager allows you to browse for extensions, which you had. Once upon a time you had to go into your default web browser, go to Gnome Extensions, install the support for that, restart it. Then you probably needed another support that you had to run a command for. But now you can use this extensions here. User themes. So what user themes will do will make this one here active in appearance. You cannot select anything here. So if we install user themes, for example, which is on top, install that. That's installed. So if we go to Tweaks, Tweaks must have closed on me after doing something with the user themes. So that's pretty intelligent because you need to close that anyway for it to take effect. So that's pretty good. Now it gives you the ability to check different shell themes, which is pretty much the bar here and probably the dock, I think. I'm not sure. Not going to worry too much about that. And while we're on extensions, we could also browse. That's browse for ArcMenu. ArcMenu. Let's install that. So ArcMenu and also Dash to Panel. Dash to Panel as well. One of these I think is not supported anymore. Oh, that's Dash from Panel. Dash to Panel. That's what we want. So install that. Install. And that's installed. So now you can see that the dock has gone down to the bottom and we have the ArcMenu. So Extensions Manager, if we go back to Extensions Manager, you've got these little gear icons here. So ArcMenu, that's just check that out real quick. You can change the type of menu you're using. The current menu, let's have a look, layouts. The current menu is ArcMenu. You got these layouts here. ArcMenu, Brisk Menu, Whisker Menu, Budgie Menu, Mint Menu, Gnome Menu. So these are all, the Budgie comes from the Budgie desktop. The Mint menu comes from the Linux Mint project on their traditional Cinnamon desktop, that menu there, and so forth. So you've got all these options for different menus. Now Dash to Panel, you can choose to show certain things on the panel. You can make them visible or invisible, stack to the left, right, centered, and so forth. This is, I'm just going through this real quick because I didn't want to spend too much time on this. So you've got your activities, show applications. You can uncheck that and remove it like so. And then it's back again, and you can choose to not have the ArcMenu there as well, I would think. So you have all those options there, which allows you to somehow configure this back to a traditional style desktop, but you've still got your super button, super key, or the Windows key for the activities overview, and it gives you the best of both worlds, or all worlds to be honest, for me anyway. Haven't been using this setup lately. I've just been using stock GNOME to be honest, but this one makes more sense because if you click on this, it's all down the bottom. You've got all this menu here. You can click out of it. If we have a look at the Dash to Panel settings, you can also put your activities button there as well, which is that one. Then you've got this one here, or the super key, which shows over your activities, which is the same as that one. And you got your menu. And you got all applications. You can look through your applications if you wish. So that's just a quick look at the extensions, some of the popular extensions within Ubuntu anyway. I will turn off Dash to Panel and ArcMenu, so let's turn them off. And let's put the dock back. The dock doesn't seem to want to come back. It will come back eventually. It's at the bottom at the moment. Let's find that extensions again. So if you have this problem, it's not too big a deal. We need to switch on Ubuntu dock. That's what we need to do down the bottom there. Ubuntu dock, and that should bring the dock back. And a couple of clicks there. I don't know, it was just playing up a little bit to get back, but eventually you play around with it, it'll come back. So H gives you a view of installed apps. Let's just check that out real quick. And there's your installed Snap apps there under H. That'll stay up for 15 seconds. So if you wanted to read more, you'll just have to press H again. I didn't know how to sort of keep it there within the script. So some people are not real keen on the Snap Firefox, so you can choose to uninstall Firefox Snap. So the Snap related software is here. If you want to remove Firefox Snap, you can just press I and away we go. It'll uninstall Firefox Snap. Now number 2 is to install Firefox Snap if you change your mind. Firefox Snap version is removed and it goes away from the menu, so it's uninstalled. Now the Snap store is the Ubuntu store. So that's this one here, Ubuntu Software. That's the Snap store. So the Ubuntu Snap store or the Ubuntu Software is actually the Snap store. Now this is the Ubuntu Snap store. So if we click on a application there and we have a look up top here, you have got Snap Stable, Snap Candidate, Beta, Edge. Stable's probably the best one to use unless you're after another version or a later version that's got some new features that you might be looking for to test out. Then you might be looking for these ones. Then you can install the .deb file as well from the software store. I don't remember that being in there before, so that must be a new change. That's good to see that they've got the deb packages within the software store. So you got the two options there, deb packages and also the snaps. Now I have got the option there of removing the Snap store if you wish. And I've got the option of removing Snap completely or Snap D completely. So there'll be no Snap software. So that removes Ubuntu software. It removes Firefox Snap, the Snap store and everything. Probably not recommended, I would think, for newer users maybe. But you may want to remove the Snap store. So I've given you that option. I've tested this all out. It all works. I've removed Snap completely. I've installed Snap again. So this runs in the menu in alphabetical order. Then the numbers are the change of mind. So the numbers are, 2 is install Firefox Snap, 3 is install Snap Store, and 4 is install Snap D again. So if you've removed it, it gives you the option to putting it back in. It's up to you what you want to do with this script. They all work. I've checked them out. So what I've done is I've removed the Firefox Snap. Now what we'll see here is the reason why this .desktop file is here for. We can install, I've got the browser install selections here. You've got the option of installing Firefox, Google Chrome, Brave Browser, and Vivaldi. I just gave you a few options there. So let's check that out. I'm going to install Firefox, which is L. So let's select L. This Firefox that's installing here is directly from the Firefox website. It'll download it, it'll extract it, it'll put it in the /opt folder or folder, and then it will also copy the .desktop file into the areas that it's needed to show up in the menu. So you don't have to worry about any of that. That's why that .desktop file is there. The others, you don't really need to do that. It's only Firefox that you really need to do that with. That's why that comes along with this Firefox installed, run script again. So you can run the script again to update Firefox. So if there's an update for Firefox, just run L for Firefox web browser install, and it'll actually update that Firefox by running that script. I've done from 99 to 100, just rerunning that script, and the Firefox updated itself. So that's all you need to do to update it. So Firefox should be there. So let's look for Firefox. That's add to favorites. There it is in the favorites. Move up to the top there. And there we go. Now we've got just normal Firefox, which will probably start a lot quicker than the Snap one. It started already. It started minimized for some reason. I don't know why it did that. So let's just check that out. Firefox, help, and about 100. And it doesn't say anything about canonical Snap. So that's just the Firefox installed from the Firefox website. You got the option of Google Chrome, Brave Browser, and Vivaldi. So that's how you swap out the Firefox Snap. If you're not keen on the Snap and you find it a bit slow starting up, that's the other option you've got for that. Now the other thing we do have is Flatpak Install, which is full support. So sometimes Flatpak installs, you've got to add the Flatpak repo and also the Gnome Software support. So let's go P to install Flatpak. P to install Flatpak, enter for yes, and enter for yes, because there's a couple of commands there. So one command will run after another. That's probably why you might get some answers. And then you've got this password here, which is installing probably the, that password is for the Flatpak repo, I'm pretty sure. So Flatpak support installed, please log out to complete Flatpak. So we're going to do that. That's press X to exit the menu. Let's exit this. Let's do a logout. Let's log out. Let's log back in. Now I've tried running this with, and I uninstalled, first of all, Firefox Snap and the Snap Store. I uninstalled both of those. Then I uninstalled Snapd altogether. And then I reinstalled them. That was all done on real hardware. So let's go back to the script. Open in terminal. Arrow up because that would have been the last command anyway. And super and arrow up. Let's have a look at software in here. Software. It should be only the Ubuntu software. Well, actually, no, we've got the Gnome software as well. So I have got it in the script there. If we have a look at the script. Gnome software install. But that seems to come when you install Flatpak. So you can remove Gnome software if you wish. So now what we've got here is we have software. Let's open up the Gnome software. That's the Gnome software. Now this takes a little while to populate. What the Gnome software will do is it will populate Snap packages, Flatpak packages, and Deb packages. So the Gnome software is pretty much an all-rounder for all packages, a one-stop shop store to install everything. So that's what the Gnome software will do, whereas the Snap Store will just do Debs and Snaps. That's why I give you the option, if you're happy with the Gnome software installing Snaps and Flatpaks and Deb packages, then you can uninstall from here. You can remove the Snap Store. That's what you can do. So let's just quickly click on Telegram desktop. Now as you can see, it might take a little while. So you got Ubuntu Deb, you got the Flatpak, and you got the Snaps. So you have all three. Now it's still populating more than likely, but you've got all three in the one-stop shop, so you can choose whatever you want. If you want to install, so if we click on this one here, Ubuntu Snap, you can choose to install that. If we click on Flatpak, you can install the Flatpak from here. It should say that it's a Flatpak somewhere. It probably doesn't say in here anymore because it's got the Flatpak up here. So FlatHub, Flatpak. So it probably doesn't need to tell you within here that it's a Flatpak. And it's got the version number there. And then you've got the Ubuntu Deb Telegram desktop. So that's from the Ubuntu Debian repositories. So if you're pretty happy with the Gnome software and all of those, you can uninstall the Snap Store if you wish. If you don't want Snap at all, you can completely remove Snap here. Now I've got an option here for Menulibre, so let's check that out. Let's choose R to install Menulibre, and I'll tell you why I've decided to put that in there. Menulibre installed. Now let's just say you wanted to install Firefox Snap again, or let's just say you wanted to keep Snap installed. First of all, we'll install Firefox Snap number 2. Let's install that back again. So Firefox Snap version installed. So let's see if we can find the Firefox Snap version. What's this one? So Firefox web browser. So this is where Menulibre comes in handy. Let's just say, so Menulibre is the menu editor. So let's open that up. So what we want to do is look under internet. So we've got Firefox stable and Firefox web browser. Now the web browser, the Firefox stable is the one that we installed with the script from the Firefox website. The web browser is the Snap package. So if you wanted to leave that in there, you can use Menulibre to hide that from the menu, if you wish. So let's just say we hide that. Let's just look at the menu. I don't think it's in the menu. Oh yeah, there's two showing there. So there's the web browser and there's the stable. Stable is from the website, web browser is the Snap. So if we go to Menulibre, and let's just say we hide the web browser, which is the Snap, that's the Snap one, we can just save that. Firefox. So now you've just got the Firefox stable. So you've hidden Firefox from the menu. That's the reason why I've put the Menulibre install there. So if you want to hide some of these things like the Gnome, the Ubuntu software, you could even do that. Let's try that. I'm not sure where that would be. We could probably do a search for Ubuntu software. So we could hide from the menu and save it. Close that. And let's look for software. So all you find now is the Gnome software. So that's pretty handy if you want to keep all the snaps and things in there, add Flatpak support, but you just want to run it with Gnome software, and that can take care of your snaps, debs and Flatpaks. Then you can do that, you can hide them. I don't think it's going to be too taxing on the system, but you have got the option there of uninstalling and removing Snapd altogether, which means you won't have the Snap Store and you won't have Firefox. So there's a lot of things that you can do here to make the desktop your own. This once you've got your Codecs and VLC media player or your MPV media player installed, you minimize on click, your Gnome tweaks, your extensions manager. Once you've got all those, you can pretty much make Ubuntu your own and set it up in a way that suits the way you want to work. I find that would be very handy for most people and fairly simple process for new users, I think. And this will just help you run through the options of what you do and don't want to do within Ubuntu, things to do. Now, there's one thing that you might see here is under the letter S, or next to the letter S, is fix missing error. So what I've done is, part of my testing on real hardware is I removed Flatpak and then I reinstalled it. Now it had a bit of a problem. I think it had some broken packages for some reason after removing Flatpak. When I did that, I don't know if I can simulate that. Let's try it. Let's do it. Let's remove Flatpak, run number 5. Yes, remove that. Flatpak uninstalled. All right, Flatpak's uninstalled. That's X for exit. Now let's do a restart. I didn't do a restart when I did this on real hardware. Okay, so I've rebooted the system. We're going to have a look at Flatpak again. Let's see if Gnome Software is in here first. Gnome Software is still there, so removing Flatpak did not remove Gnome Software. But if we was to open Gnome Software, we'll probably find that there's no Flatpaks in there. Snap and Ubuntu Deb packages. Okay, so let's open the script back up and let's install Flatpak again, P. Log out to complete Flatpak. So let's just log out So I didn't get an error that time, maybe because I restarted. That's why I didn't get the error. So let's try that. So let's check out Gnome Software real quick. And there we have Flatpak, Ubuntu Debian packages, and snaps. So as you can see, removing and installing Flatpak again worked no problem. So if you do happen to get an error when reinstalling Flatpak that says you need to run this fix missing error --fix -missing, then you've got that there just in case. And also within that script, you'll see that with the Flatpak install, wherever that is, down here somewhere, Flatpak install, I've got a -F switch there, which means that it forces Flatpak to install. Sometimes you need that, so I just thought I'd keep that switch there. So once again, we're back on the desktop of real hardware. What we're going to check out real quick is the software and updates. So this one here is software updater. This one here is software and updates. So let's click on that one. Now under software and updates, we've got additional drivers. So it will search for your additional drivers. This Toshiba here has an Nvidia. So I'm going to, is there a recommended one? No. It's been a while since I've used an Ubuntu based distro and installed the Nvidia driver. So I may try this one. So that's apply changes. We'll take the latest. Put in your password. And that is the Nvidia driver installed. Now what we need to do is restart for that. So I'm going to stop this video and reboot, and then we'll come back. So we are back on the desktop and Nvidia is installed. So we've got Nvidia On Demand, Nvidia Performance Mode, and Intel Power Saving Mode. Now this one here you'd probably have to open up as root, I think, with a root command to be able to change that. So I cannot select, I can select that one, I'll cancel that. So I cannot select that one, have to probably open, let's quit that. I think it's Nvidia settings, let's try that. Let's open the terminal. And there we go. So if we go to Prime Profiles, no, I still cannot change that. That's really bizarre. Let's quit that. So I don't know why I cannot change that back to Intel. That's pretty weird. I'm just going to have a look at some screen tearing tests, just real quick, to see whether there's any screen tearing. So there is no screen tearing whatsoever on there, which is good. Normally I have to do a little bit of trickery to get that to remove screen tearing, but there is no screen tearing. I'm a bit disappointed I cannot change that profile. Now we are on xorg, X11. If you want to know what display manager you're using, you can use the Alt F2 buttons and type R, and that'll restart your xorg. So let's press enter so you can see that it's restarting. If we was on Wayland, that would say restart is not possible on Wayland. Now I cannot record with Simple Screen Recorder under Wayland. So what I will do is I'll just jump into the Wayland desktop and see if Nvidia is working on there fine. And that'll be just about the end of the video, I would think. Okay, so here we are on the desktop with Wayland, and I've installed the OBS Snap, and the OBS Snap seems to be running just fine. Now if you want to know where it's saving the recording, I was going to save it in a different place. Where was that? Output. I can't do that at the moment, but it's saving in Home, Snap OBS Studio. So here, Snap OBS Studio 1284, which is where it's saving. No big deal. It wouldn't allow me to change that. Don't know why. Maybe I'm not doing it correctly. And I left the computer for a little bit and the screen went blank and I could not get the screen out of blank mode, so I had to restart. I had to do a hard shutdown, hold down the power key and shut down. So that must be Nvidia and Wayland. So there's got to be a couple of little issues there. But overall, it's not running too bad. We can get recording, so that's a good thing. And if you have a look on here, if we go Alt F2 and get a run command, hit R, it'll say restart is not available on Wayland. So that's how you can find out if you're on Wayland or not. Just hit the escape key, that'll go away. And if we have a look on Wayland, we are still running Nvidia there, Nvidia on demand. No problem there. We've got performance mode. Now there's got to be a way of actually being able to change back to Intel if you wish, or maybe just use the performance mode. Maybe we don't use Intel with Nvidia under Wayland or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what that's all about. Definitely opening it up as root doesn't work. And last but not least, just do a quick check on screen tearing. And normally under a recording, you won't be able to see whether it tears or not, normally. Maybe even that could be tearing when you're looking at it on YouTube, but it definitely is not tearing for me. So Wayland and Nvidia is working fine. Nvidia and xorg is also working fine. No need to do any command trickery for getting no screen tearing, because there's no screen tearing out of the box. So that is the Nvidia drivers, and also Wayland and OBS on Wayland as well. So that was things to do in Ubuntu 22.04. A very different approach to things to do in Ubuntu compared to what I've done in the past. Using a bash script, I thought I would test my skills at a bash script, and also it can be useful for new users at the same time. I try to restrict terminal usage for new users. I quite often think within Linux it's almost unavoidable. This process is quite a simple one. You only have to open the terminal once and you've got the menu there to choose the things that you want to do. Not only that, if a new user wants to open that bash script with a text editor, they can do so. They can check out the commands that are in there and what's being used. It'll save you a bit of time trying to find these things somewhere on the internet. Maybe one day I can find a nice little GTK app that someone's got available that I can hack on and manipulate and make it like in a button form, so you just have to press a button. That'll be nice. It'll probably look a little bit more professional than just a terminal thing, and I could do a video on how to set that up with Menulibre. Menulibre could make a desktop file for you, and you could anytime you wanted to open it, it would then be within a selectable item within the menu. That would be pretty nice. You still have to do a little bit of work to get that as an application within the desktop itself. But once it's done, it's there, and you can use it at any time. So that's something I can see myself probably doing in the future, but I'm not a coder. I just know how the commands run in Ubuntu and how to set them up to be used in a more convenient way. So wow, that was a long video. Sometimes it's necessary. I like to try and keep everything within the one video so people don't have to go searching through other videos to find information. But there were links below for your convenience, so I hope they come in handy. So anyway, that was Ubuntu 22.04, things to do. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting and informative, and thanks for watching.